back to order. No action was taken in the executive session. We'll move on to department reports.
I'll just kind of hit the highlights. One thing I want to make sure that y'all hear, the public hears, with the passing of the capital penny tax, the town of Packard will receive 4.85% of the $12.3 million, which is $598,346 to repave roads within the town. This amount is based on the number of local roads the town is responsible for. Packard will receive the third highest percentage of the total funds. The only towns that will receive more money is Spartanburg and Greer. These total funds will be paid in one payment to the town of Packard for roads resurfacing in 2028. The town can add additional town funds for more resurfacing and is eligible to match these funds with CPC funds. All the funds received must be paid in 2028, and the penny tax started May 1st, 2024. And it could end up going up higher than that depending on how sales or purchases go in terms of tax go in terms of people buying stuff over the next several years.
We can't use that before 2028.
Cannot use it for 2028, but in 2028, actually in 2027, they want the town to go ahead and identify all the streets that they would like to have paved. They are preferring that the town work on local roads and not state roads. Because state roads become a little more complicated as they have to have additional steps involved with the process. They're not saying no, that is still a process, but they need to know a little bit further in advance to go ahead and plan for that. If there is additional funds the town's going to be putting in, they need to know that in advance. So we're looking at sometime in the fall of 2027 that we need to have a very solid idea of how many roads, which roads, how much of all the roads to be paved, so that in 2028 we hit the ground and the street running. Number 4, I won't go into. I did misspell a person's name in there. I guess it might have been a Freudian slip on there. But we have received some funds from this individual. I believe that $27,000 has already come in. So that's great, and we're hoping that we'll increase those payments more often.
Number 3.
Yes, sir.
You decided to name out Enchanted Homes in that. Is there a reason why you put their specific name in that comment?
Because that is the developer who's...
Did they break a law?
What's that?
Did they break a law? You're just having issues with them, correct?
They're currently trying to get properties closed without, they're trying to sell properties without actually getting them closed down in terms of the permits.
I would like for you to no longer use names when it's just an issue. Because this in essence, this is basically smashing them a little bit. There's no point naming out Enchanted Homes in this line item. You can just say we're having issues with the contractor. I'm asking you not to name names.
I included it here. You
I know,
just
I'm
mentioned
just
their
saying,
name.
in the future, let's not use names in that manner, you know.
Let's see, the steering committee, the next and probably last meeting the steering committee will have is the Thursday, May 16th. After that, there will be a public meeting, so the public will have some input on the process that's currently happening through there. The town will receive drawings for the new sign. I just want to let you know, I got comments today. I'll probably by the first of next week, we'll have all those drawings ready to go ahead and send out. Cleanup. The community cleanup and bulk waste drop-off were a big success. And so I think we'll talk later on about possibly doing that again. Just want to let y'all know in terms of number 11, we've had 3 scheduled interviews. They were no-shows. We've had 2 more since then. I say we, I've included Mr. Burrell in those since he's going to be very much a part of this process, and selected someone today. And so as soon as they can start, we do have an individual who will be added on as a temporary employee to the sanitation department.
That's good news.
The RFP for the stormwater master plan has been posted with a deadline of May 28th. I do want y'all to look at that last section on there for the selection. We need to have a committee to review this, 5 people. I'd recommend that we need to have 2 to 3 council members that review that, including and then also myself and maybe a representative of RCI, for a total of 5 individuals that then make a recommendation, based on all of the proposals that come in before the next council meeting. So if y'all wanna reach out and let me know who those 3 individuals are, if mayor, if you wanna name who those 3 individuals are, we can wait, or you can do it now, or we can talk about it a little bit later.
I want to volunteer. You know, I'm gonna choose.
I can't do it, I'm too busy.
Yeah, getting down the country most of the time. with it.
What you'll be doing is looking over all the proposals that will be coming in for the master plan and the stormwater system, evaluating them based off of the predetermined guidelines that are in the RFP. I can show you all that whole process. There'll be a score sheet, which is being provided by us by ACOG, and you'll look over the proposals, score them, select the final group, and make a recommendation to council, and move forward with that group.
I can do that, need a couple more.
I don't have no problem with it.
Rick, how about you, Star, you?
I can help,
Uh,
yeah.
Okay, there's you 3 right there.
That's pretty much hits all the major stuff that's on there. If you have any questions, I can answer it. Otherwise, we'll move on. The RCI report is here, as you can see. In addition, the police chief's report is here. As I mentioned before, the police chief is not going to be able to be here tonight. Another situation has come up that has prevented him from being here.
So Norfolk Southern's gonna be cleaning that area behind IGA, what,
Sir?
he's saying that, Norfolk Southern's gonna be cleaning that area up behind IGA. Is that where you're talking about?
He is actually working on a group to come out there and do that. However, we've also, if that does not come through, we've also are applying for a grant to do that. So the chief has other connections that I don't already have with Norfolk Southern, is trying to get them to just clean up some of the property out there. But we are applying for a grant to cover that. And he was working on that independently of everything else that was going on.
Okay, anybody have any questions?
Can we get the administrator's report, RCI's report, and the police department's report added to the minutes as written?
I don't think, why not?
Make sure that you look at number 5, that they're accepting youth applications to the Explorers program. So if you know of anybody who may be interested, police@townofpaclet.com.
Okay.
I think it's important to mention that our inspector received a very prestigious award as Inspector of the Year in South Carolina, Brian Blackwell. So congrats to him.
That's it's a pretty good honor, for the state, you know, just for our county or something, it'd be good, but if that's for our state, that's real prestigious there. Okay? Anybody have any more comments? Okay. Boards, commissions, and committees, do you have anything on them? Anybody?
Nothing at this time.
Okay. Unfinished business?
Nothing at this time.
How about new business?
The first item on there is consider on first reading the amendment to the ordinance 2023-05, fee schedule for building permits. This was discussed at the last work session. This change is based off of what CCI and very similar to what the county currently charge in terms of building permits. This is an amendment to an amendment to an ordinance that y'all had passed in 2023 in changing the amounts, and this was put in based on the recommendations of that work session.
Any questions on that?
Yeah, I wasn't here, so I have a few questions. The residential R3 type VB where it says heated square feet, 167.37. There's several other towns that I noticed in the chart that Mr. K gave us that's a number given from the ICC BVD table. But some of the other towns also have where if the contractor can show what their actual construction cost is, then they'll accept that too.
I didn't see any towns that did that, except for Spartanburg County.
It was in the chart that you sent us. I can try to find it if you'd like. Do you have a copy of that printed?
I don't. I can get one printed though.
How are we gonna police that? To do that? They come in and say, we can do it for $100
I mean, if,
a square foot, and then are we gonna go with their figures, or are we gonna?
I think,
How are we gonna do that?
I think that,
RCI?
well, I think if they can submit what they've previously built the house, it'd be kind of easy to know what the construction cost is. You know, so if they've already built 3 houses and they know that the cost to build those houses is roughly $150 a square foot. then-
But that's, at that point, we have to trust them, and we have to trust that that's the only cost that are in there. 'Cause at this point, the reason I've asked several different people why do they use the ICC BVD, and it's to keep it fair and to keep it even, and so that everyone's using the same basis. And one thing I even asked Mr. Wayne Willis on there was that he was even looking at doing an older version of the ICC BVD, like a February 2021 amount on there, but he was doing it just because it makes it fair. There's gonna be some homes that are gonna be $300 a square foot, and there's gonna be some homes that are gonna be less. This way, it just makes it fair across the board.
Yeah, the evaluation can be compared to area and adjusted. So it's an adjustable valuation. I mean, I think it's necessary that we look and see what the actual cost in this area for square foot is. I mean, if you look at sales price versus, if you look at sales price of a new home versus the square footage, we're at 170, somewhere around there. That includes the property, that includes landscaping. That's not the building structure itself. And the inspector's only looking at the footprint of the building, interior footprint of the building. Now, his concern isn't the total sale price of the project or the house. It's really just the building of the house is whether it's built appropriate or not. So it shouldn't be based off of, if I remember right, Mr. Blackwell said that a house sold for $170,000, and they said that it only cost them $80,000 to build it. You know, and I agree that probably cost a lot more than 80 to build it, but if it's sold for 170, we shouldn't be looking at, you know, a 1,200 square foot house at 167 and the sale price is 170,000. Because then you're actually figuring in the cost of purchase the property, subdivide the property, all the surveying, the landscaping, the drainage. You see my point?
I get what you're saying. The only thing is we have to then do that research to determine what that is and then update that on a regular basis. Because I haven't done the research to know what every single home in the town of Packard is currently selling for and what every home is currently selling for in other areas. Now, if you take one thing that I was looking at from your numbers on there is you took all the homes that were selling in the town of Packard, which is incorrect because then you're comparing apples to fruitcakes because you're comparing an older house to a brand new house. You have to only about brand new houses subtract the cost of the land that's on there to be able to get the price of the actual house divided by the square footage.
How much,
It would be easy for the contractor themselves to show, if it's an incentive for them to put together a spreadsheet to show the cost of the property, the cost of the surveying, the cost of the $15,000 concrete driveway, the cost of, you know, landscaping and then advertising and stuff like that, because all of that stuff isn't included in the building itself. So if they wanted to show that this is the cost of these things associated with that 1,200 square foot house, then the ICC BVD table is a little bit too high.
But then at that point, you're trusting that contractor that that were the only costs that they had.
Are you suggesting we could get receipts?
So you're saying we're just having trust issues?
Yeah,
That we can't trust what.
The system is designed to show the lowest price for the house because that's what your permit fees are based on.
this is what, Inman and some other, CCI is charging Inman that price.
That's correct.
And, some others, once CCI is doing this.
There's actually say that it is adjustable.
I make a motion that we approve on first reading an amendment to ordinance 2023-05.
Building permit fees are based on project valuation established pursuant to the most current table published by the International Code Council, ICC, or actual construction cost as outlined in a cost estimate provided by the applicant.
We have a motion.
What's your argument, Jason? You saying that this needs to be adjustable, no price, or?
I feel like it should be adjustable because, so, this can be considered a mid-range. So if you're getting a house with certain expensive siding and expensive windows and things like that, then of course the square footage price is gonna be a lot higher. But if you're building houses in a lower income community, then you can't build houses with that extra expensive materials.
How much money are we talking about, difference?
To me, it should be.
We're talking about, what?
It's a few $100s difference.
I think, all I'm saying is I think we should give the contractor the opportunity to show what their actual costs are. Have an adjustment in there for that factor.
We're using CC&I's fees, which is working in multiple municipalities. They don't seem to be having the issues we're having. So we are reducing our fees to what other private inspectors are using in other towns seem to be working.
Yeah, I'm looking at that.
Okay.
All I'm saying is I think it should be adjustable, and I think that with having it adjustable, then that gives contractors incentive.
Adjustable down to what?
Only if they can show what their costs are.
I don't think a few $100s is gonna really decide whether people come to Packard and build or not.
So this price is kind of like a fair medium.
It's like a nationally recognized number that
It just
most of
puts
these towns
us in a
use.
situation that everyone's on a fair, even ground, because I would love to live in a world where we can trust that a contractor comes in and says, this is what it costs me to build this house. But it is incentivized to set up so for him to undervalue that, which we have seen. And we have seen, like, for instance, I'm not gonna say the company's name, but they've come in and said, this is what our cost was in here. Well, then at that point, you are making a 400% profit and
Well,
killing it on here.
When I was talking to some contractors, and they build in Spartanburg County, build in Inman, Boiling Springs and all, and, they said that, if they go to, Spartanburg County, they just tell them what they want, and they go to the lowest thing they can go most of the time. They don't have to show them anything, they just go and tell them, you know, we want a permit for, you know, 1,200 square foot house, it's gonna cost us 70, you know, to build. And they give them that. Well, I mean, and, but that's not the way to do it in Inman though. But
So
he
you're
said,
saying
you know, he
that
said
they
in
treat-
Spartanburg County, they would go up there and say, look, we want it for, this amount, you know, per square foot. And that's what they get. But they don't question it, unless it's really out of, what they think is out of line, but, you know, but.
Yeah, they get to save a couple $100 if they just put in a number, cause they know that they don't have the manpower to check, and no one's checking, and it's hard to check.
Yeah, I don't see, you know, the amount of money is not, it shouldn't stop anybody from building a house. A contractor, if he's gonna build a house, if he, has to pay, $200 or $300 more for a permit, he's gonna get it back in his cost to do the house, to sell the house. I mean, he's not gonna be stupid and say, no, I'm not gonna add that to the house. Just like, you know, if you go out and, get an increase in, burgers, you know, somebody's gonna have to pay, you know, for the increase. I mean, if you give somebody, a raise, to flip burgers, you're gonna add that on to the burger. Same way this, you know, this per square foot thing right here, you're gonna add it on to the end of the job. That's the only way it is. That's what they're doing. I mean, they might, you know, they might grumble a little bit, but, I don't think it's gonna stop. It's not stopping them in Inman, it's not stopping them, anywhere else. I mean, a $4,000, thing in Woodruff, it's not stopping them to build houses. They have to pay an impact fee for $4,000 in Woodruff. It's not stopping Woodruff from, you know, building houses. They're building them right and left in Woodruff for $4,000. We're arguing about $200 or $300.
I second.
$200 or $300.
Yeah. For this. What do you think?
She seconded the motion.
Okay. Motion made and second. Any more questions? Any questions? All in favor? All opposed? Okay. Motion passes. All right. Consider first reading to adopt the fiscal year 2025 town Packet annual budget.
Since the last time we met and talked about this, there were a couple things that I added on there, just because I wanted, it was kind of more of just a section on there where there was money that was given in from Senator Moss's office for renovations to town hall, and I added that on there, and then the COG that I added on there. And those were costs then associated with town hall improvements as well as the upgrades to the zoning ordinance. And for those, actually all of you should be looking at this as well. If you look on the copy that you have in front of you on the adjusted 7/1/2023 through 3/31/2024, that's the most updated numbers that we have currently for the town, in terms of revenue and expenses. One thing you'll notice on there is, the revenue currently for property taxes is much higher than what was budgeted. We budgeted based off of the amounts that we would receive before the reassessment, and so that's the reason that they're so much higher. We're also seeing a lot more increase, or a higher increase in the local government funds that are coming in from the state. For those who weren't at the work session, are there any questions that y'all have that you'd like to answer on this on the budget? The two biggest things that are occurring in this budget is adding on another police officer to the town of Packwood, as well as another vehicle and equipment for them. And the other thing is to add on a public works department for landscaping and other beautification aspects, and that's also adding on 2 new employees and purchasing the equipment for that.
That line item for the police cars, does that include upfitting?
Yes, sir.
Is it, okay.
Yeah, I believe it was the last time we were around $43,000, $44,000 is the cost of the stripped down version of the Interceptor.
Yeah.
And then also there is approximately around $11,000, $12,000 for the upfitting on there.
Lights and cages, okay.
And horses.
I motion that we accept the first reading of the draft budget for 2025 with one amendment. Line or account ID 5107 to change that to 161,024.
Change that to what again?
$161,024.
What item was that?
What was that?
Administrative salaries, so we don't have to amend it later.
Okay.
You're decreasing it?
No,
Or
161,24.
I have it as 156,024,
Yep.
and you're wanting to go down to 151.
161.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right. Anybody else, you need a second? It's on this first page, Rick, down at the bottom. Okay. Any other questions, any other comments? Need a second?
I'll second first reading.
Okay, have a motion and a second to accept the the budget for 2025. Any more questions, any more comments? All in favor? All opposed? Okay.
One additional comment as relates to the budget. I would like to have, Steve's not asking for this, but I'd like to have a meeting with the Finance Committee. And the reason being is I put together a draft proposal for the capital plan, the capital fund plan. So if y'all are able to, I believe that's Ms. Sexton, Mr. Wright, and Mr. Williams, if y'all are able to at the next council meeting, if y'all would like to come in a little bit early, and I'll send you a copy. As of right now, the town has a pretty good amount in fund balance, but I wanted to make sure that all that stuff is allocated based on needs of the town. So I'll send you all a copy of that. It'll also include what's currently been allocated and planned for ARPA as well. After y'all have had a chance to review that, then I'll send it out to council for everybody else to review as well. Next item on the agenda is a request from the Benjamin E. Mays Family Resource Center. If you notice that there are directional signs that are up on,
Skip the quarterly.
skip something, I apologize.
I'll motion that we create a quarterly bulk waste cleanup day. It was huge success. I don't take your thunder if you want to talk about it.
No, the only thing that I've got, so it depends on the cost on there. So, this past one that the town did, it was approximately $1,000. That was a discounted rate that, Spartan Waste had given us. Spartan Waste, so that they can do 2 discounted, pickups, per year. Anything else beyond that would be additional cost. One thing that was talked about after the last, this last bulk session, because of the fact that after 4 hours, 4 bins were filled up, to get 6 bins this time, and that cost will be approximately $2,000, with the discount, and approximately $2,200 without the discount. It's not much, but I just want to let y'all know, if we do a quarterly, $2,000, $4,000, $6,000, $8,000 is a lot for the budget to take.
I would say,
Is that real costs, or do you wanna find out what the real costs are and then ask?
Those are based on, those are real costs that I'm getting from Spartan Waste. So what's great about this is, we work with the landfill, and they waive the tipping fees because it's a community cleanup.
I
So
would
we
say,
have a hard cost on
I
this.
would say up to quarterly. I don't think maybe we have to do it quarterly now, especially if we up to 6 bins. Is it 6 bins you want, or 8?
Well, it'd be 6 from Spartan Waste and then 2 metal bins, and we didn't pay for those 2 metal bins that came out.
Right, so
For the one.
maybe,
Let's do it twice a year.
Well, I think we'll
One
do,
in the spring, one in the
How
fall.
about type up a resolution with a maximum amount of money, like a budget, like $8,000. So if it ends up being quarterly, it could be 5 times, it could be 3 times, whatever the cost is. We'll set a maximum amount of money, put that in the budget line item. So we know we're gonna spend $8,000 or $10,000 next year on community cleanup. And if we can do it 5 times a year, or 6, or whatever the cost is. So if somebody donates Spartan Waste gives us 2, and we can find somebody else to give us some more discounted rates, and we can do 6 or 7 a year, that's fine. So we can, let's just have a budget for that.
Sure.
And go from there.
Were you asking him to amend his motion?
yeah,
We were still under discussion.
He made a motion to,
I will amend my motion.
What's the new motion?
I'll motion that we do a spring and fall, with additional dumpsters each year, and just let you figure out how many and what your budget
there may be an
allows.
opportunity that we get a sponsor for this, and then it's not cut, and then there's no cost to it. So I mean, I think it's very, very beneficial. I think, and just in my opinion, that if you did a 6 bin this next time, after that, you may only have to go back to 3 bin. I think there's a bunch of people that have been hoarding all this stuff. No offense to hoarding, that's between you and your whatever. But after all that stuff gets taken out of your house, I think you're gonna have a lot less stuff on a quarterly basis. So if y'all mind, I'll just kind of put something together. I'll put it on the agenda or resolution, like you said.
Thank you.
go ahead.
I just didn't want to lock you guys into like $8,000 it costs.
All right, when we did that, you gonna,
Yeah, I can withdraw my
Yeah.
motion.
okay, he withdraw. Okay, that sounds good. All right, question from Benjamin D. Mays.
Benjamin Mays there's 2 signs that are up on, I believe it's West Main Street, right there at the intersection of Sunny Acres and West Main Street. The sign currently has the Packlet Middle School on there, and they are requesting to have the sign changed to the Benjamin E. Mays Center. And what'll end up happening is there's 2 signs, one that's coming from one direction and one that's coming from the other direction. That they be replaced. One option I'd considered on there was just to tape something over the top of it, but they've been there for a long enough period of time that I think it'd be worthwhile just to replace them.
I think some of them are broken and damaged.
What's that?
Some are broken and damaged anyways. I mean,
Yeah. And they're willing to pay for most of the cost on here, so the $897.44, if y'all are okay, if you wanna approve this, it can come out of your hospitality account.
Is this just 2 signs?
This is just 2 signs and installation.
Okay, so what about the rest of the signs? Like, so this one down here?
This
I
only
know this
came up
one's broken.
because these are the only 2 signs that have the middle school on there, and
Okay.
that they wanted to use as directional coming to their
Okay,
location.
okay.
Now, if the town wants to look at additional replacement of all the signs, that's something that can be looked at. It may be worthwhile to wait till after your comp master plan. You'll may wanna, I don't know what may come up.
It looks like we passed the 30-day period for this quote? Are they still gonna honor it? Have you talked to them?
Well,
I think what they're asking
We
for
can-
right now is the town of Packet, the $897.44 of that cost.
Okay. I make a motion, we, approve the Ben Mays request.
I second it.
all right, we have a motion and a second, any more questions?
Just disclosure, I sit on the board, I just want to disclose to the public that I do sit on the board, so. I'm not voting, of course, you know,
I'd like you to vote.
want to put that out there.
All right, have a motion and a second, anybody got any questions, or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Okay. You good on that, that's all that, right?
All good?
Okay. All right, comments? Stephen, you have anything?
No comment.
Yeah, I wanted to find out about Mr. Morrell had a meeting with Mr. K about a sewer system. Can you explain the situation or the particulars? I've got a bunch of emails of some back and forth and some language that's probably not necessary from several people. I just wanna know what's going on.
Yeah, the gist of it was he came with his engineer to propose a different route, and if the town would be able to cover the cost, the amount the town was gonna put up outside of what the grant was gonna cover for the project itself. It's a difficult situation because the town currently has a contractual relationship with Summit Engineering that I believe would put y'all into potential jeopardy with that. That's up to you if you want to try to break that contract and work with the attorney to try to go around it. But he was trying to design something new with his engineer and for the town to pay for some of that cost in there. And he would pay for some of that cost as well.
So we have a contract with Summit to design and do engineering on projects that we ask them to do, right?
For town of Packlet engineering projects, yes.
Okay, we pay them regularly?
We do not pay them anything.
We don't pay them anything unless,
We do a project.
so there's a different engineering firm that's designed a different system.
Excuse me?
Mr. Morrell has his own engineers design a
Correct.
different system,
Correct.
and the cost is,
He did not give me a cost, nor did he give me a design.
but he's saying he's only asking for the towns to help with it?
What he's asking for is the amount that the town was going to cover of the cost that we were looking at going in. Originally, when I brought this to council, it was gonna go behind Coleman Store, and then we go behind some of the residents on 150, and then it would hit the main line on Memorial Drive. He's proposing to go in a different direction. He thinks the cost would be less. I don't know. I did not see any cost estimates from him, nor did I get that from his. He just kept saying that our cost was just really high. And so what he was asking for is, for the total price on there, the town was gonna have to contribute X number of dollars. And that X number of dollars was the $25,000, or I'm sorry, the 25% of the construction cost, and all the costs for easements and engineering.
I would like to see the plan,
His plan?
yeah.
Okay, I don't have his
And
plan.
I would expect, something about that, you know what I'm saying? I mean, if there's another plan for the sewer system in that area, that's the whole business district that we're talking about, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would like to have a presentation from
Of his engineer to come up here.
if his engineer or him himself, doesn't matter to me, if he's got a plan that might save the town some money and get that project done and over with quicker, and we're not worried about grant monies, we can use the grant money for something else. If we could get it done and get that knocked out, and I think revive some of that area quicker, I think we should entertain it at least.
Do you also want me to check in with the attorney about us breaking our contract with Summit Engineering?
Absolutely, I mean, I think the contract with Summit Engineering is whatever we've asked them to design, and, I mean, my assumption is that if we're helping facilitate a different project, that's not a project they're working on, I don't know. So yes, the answer is yes.
Any projects that the town of Packer be working on,
He's
you've got
already,
to under some
they already
engineer.
got the plans for it, somebody's already done plans for that, right?
Yeah, in lieu of getting grant monies and things like that, right? So trying to find the funding for the Summit Engineering project is what we're waiting on?
So what we're waiting for is to apply for the RIA grant that is available in the fall. The owner of the water sewer company, who's actually the system it is,
Spartanburg Water.
Spartanburg Water, they have to apply for that grant.
Right, that's why we didn't do it last year, because,
They already had other projects that were.
right, yeah. So do we know that Spartanburg Water is actually going to apply for this grant for the town of Packer?
We do not know, they do not know. They are still looking at other possibilities.
Yeah, so I think it's only intelligent that if there's another possibility that we could pursue, or at least have there available to get this done one way or the other, for if it's the same amount of money or less, fine.
And the thing is if you didn't already have the agreement with Summit Engineering for 3 years, I'd say absolutely, let's go for it.
Right, find out with Summit Engineering if we owe them some money for the plan that they've already done, that we may or may not ever actually do, because Spartanburg Water might not apply for the grant, because there's so many factors. Talk with them and find out, talk with the attorney, find out. I think it's an easy yes or no, or a compensation for work they've done. Who knows?
Sure. And then you want Mr. Morrell, and you need to go check out all that stuff first.
Yeah, I mean, if the attorney says, no, you can't do anything like that, then of course there's no point in having that discussion.
Okay.
So,
I'll talk with Mr. Frost on that, and if he doesn't have a problem, then I'll also reach out to Ms. Morrell and see if he can come out and give a presentation.
Anything else?
no.
Tom? How about, Founder's Day weekend, was it still on?
We are until, I guess, until.
We're gonna make that call Saturday morning. One thing I don't have a lot of faith in, no offense, is weathermen, especially in the South. I've had a lot of situations where in other towns that I've worked with, we canceled an event, and then Saturday, when the day actually came for the event, it was bright and sunny and shiny for the whole time.
It was forecasted to rain last year, and it was a beautiful day, so fingers crossed.
Okay.
Mayor, if you aren't already going to say something, I would like to embarrass someone about the balloons behind you.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Okay.
Yeah. We had back in 1974, we had a young lady to come to our community fresh out of the hills of Black Mountain. And she has been with us for 50 years. And that's a long time for anybody, any job, anywhere. And she's very much appreciated. And she's done a lot for us. She's done a lot for this town. And I want to let her know we really do appreciate it. You have any talking about colleges.
Her face don't get red.
Yeah.
We got cupcakes if anybody wants to take some.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned.
Second.
Second. All in favor?